Chancellor Cummins, the students have now assembled for the 2017 Spring Commencement exercise for the graduate school.
Thank you, Dr. Beasley. Good evening, graduates and special guests. Welcome to the 2017 Spring Commencement for the University of North Carolina at Pembroke Graduate School. Graduates, this is your night. Listen closely to the words of those who will address you and enjoy this moment. Please remain standing for the invocation by Reverend Michael Cummings, Executive Director of the Burnt Swamp Baptist Association.
Will you join me as we pray? Our eternal God and Heavenly Father, we're humbled to join together tonight as a community and university family to celebrate the significant achievement of each of these distinguished graduates. We give you thanks above all in this joyous occasion for your unending commitment to us with blessing and privilege beyond our expectation. You are truly worthy of our full praise and gratitude. You have provided this university through the generations to build and expand our horizons of human success and accomplishment. We receive these graduates tonight with gladness and welcome the promise of better days to come because of their academic achievement. This is a season of great promise and hope for our university and for our community. You have brought us an ambitious and gifted visionary leader in our Chancellor, Dr. Robin Cummings. He surrounds himself with a capable and untiring professional staff. Your favor is upon this school. We pray you will hold your strong hand steady upon it, and especially these who lead it. This is a leadership team we believe in, and we lift up to you. As we move through this ceremony tonight, you, Almighty God, are welcome among us as our great provider and gracious giver of every good and perfect gift. And for all of your kindness in loving us and saving us into your eternal kingdom, we honor and worship you in the able name of our Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Cummings. Please remain standing and join in singing the national anthem performed by Taylor Royer.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Taylor. Beautifully, beautifully done. Please take your seats. Graduates and honored guests, again, I am pleased to welcome you this evening to the commencement ceremony of the University of North Carolina at Pembroke's Graduate School. You graduates know what an important occasion this is, and we could not agree more. Many representatives from throughout the university community, including faculty and staff members, trustees of the university, and special guests, are here tonight to witness your commencement, to celebrate your accomplishments, and to offer you a little advice along the way. I would like to recognize members of the platform party who are here to support your achievement, but will not be speaking in this evening's ceremony. I will ask each to please stand and remain standing and be recognized as their names are called, and I would ask you to please hold your applause until all have been introduced. From the University of North Carolina at Pembroke Board of Trustees, Dr. Wiley Barrett and Mr. Don Metzger. Senior administrators of the university, Dr. Lisa Schaefer, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Mr. Kenneth Spade, Interim Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration, Ms. Wendy Lowry, Vice Chancellor for Advancement, Mr. Joshua Malcolm, General Counsel for the university, Mr. Dick Christie, Director of Athletics, Ms. Jody Phelps, Executive Director for University Communications and Marketing, Mr. Dan Kenny, Chief of Staff, Dr. Jeff Frederick, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Barry O'Brien, Dean of the School of Business, Dr. Alfred Bryant, Dean of the School of Education, Dr. Mark Milowitz, Dean of the Esther G. Maynor Honors College, Dr. Dennis Swanson, Dean of Library Services, Ms. Lourdes Silva, Registrar, Ms. Natrisha Drake, Associate Registrar. Please join with me in applauding them. Thank you. As I mentioned, we are also joined by faculty tonight. It is because of their hard work and dedication to this school that our graduates are here tonight. UNC Pembroke is where learning gets personal. Our faculty deserve much credit for their commitment to your education. I ask our faculty to please rise so they can be recognized. Please join me in applauding them this evening. Please rise, faculty. I would also like to make a personal recognition. I want to thank my wife, Rebecca. Quite simply, I could not do this without you. I appreciate your patience and understanding. Rebecca bleeds black and gold. And this university is fortunate to have her as First Lady. Rebecca, please stand before I make an idiot of myself. We are honored to have a member of the University of North Carolina Board of Governors with us tonight, Mr. Bob Rippey. Bob has served for the past 2 years as our liaison to the board. He has been a dear friend and a committed friend to UNC Pembroke's success. I now invite Mr. Rippey, who will bring greetings from the Board of Governors and from the UNC General Administration.
Thank you and good evening. First, I'd like to thank the faculty and staff for all you've done for these wonderful graduates out here. Being on the Board of Governors is a special privilege. I get to see what a great university system we have, and Pembroke is a very bright light in that system. On behalf of the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina, University President Margaret Spelling, it's my pleasure to bring greetings to this evening's graduates and their families, to distinguished faculty, alumni, trustees of this fine university, Chancellor Cummings, Chairwoman Blue, and esteemed members of the Platform Party. But most of all, I want to talk to the graduates. We're expecting a lot out of you. We put a lot in you, you put a lot in yourself. Let's double ourselves and do what you're best in life is doing. You've all trained in different fields, from nursing, to social work, to business, whatever you're graduating in, I'm proud of you. And I speak from the Board of Governors. We're all proud of you, what you've done. Parents, friends, family, cousins, aunts are here tonight. You have every reason to be proud of these graduates. So I want to say one last thing to you. Go Braves.
Thank you, Mr. Rippey. Again, we are grateful for your service and your friendship to North Carolina and to our university. I now invite Ms. Kelly Blue, Chairwoman of the University of North Carolina at Pembroke Board of Trustees, Dr. Sarah Simmons, Chair of the Faculty Senate, Mr. Gordon Bird, Vice Chair of the Staff Council, and Ms. Amy Cox, Chair of the Graduate Student Organization, to bring greetings.
Chancellor Cummings, distinguished platform party, it is with great pleasure and immense pride that I congratulate the class of 2017 on behalf of the UNC Pembroke Board of Trustees. I joined the UNCP alumni and the friends and families of our graduates as we celebrate their success of earning college degrees. Graduates, this is an occasion for you to look back on the memories you've made at this university and the relationships you've formed that will continue long after you leave this campus. As you celebrate the conferring of your hard-earned degree, embrace the future with the confidence that only comes from earning an outstanding education. Tonight, you will become a respected alumnus of UNCP. As a proud graduate of this university myself, I challenge you to use the knowledge and training you received here to improve the lives of others, not only in your career, but through your volunteer service in every aspect of your life. The UNCP trustees are confident that you will represent the university well, equipped with the degree that you received tonight and the supportive embrace of more than 27,000 UNCP alumni. Once again, congratulations and go Braves.
On behalf of the almost 350 faculty members at UNC Pembroke, I congratulate you on your accomplishments. Meeting the requirements for earning a master's degree from this special institution is a grand achievement. I'm sure you'll agree that getting to this point in your life didn't just happen. It took heaps of planning and effort on your part, and I'm sure that you'll agree that you had lots of support along the way. As this evening approached, no doubt your mind took you on a journey down memory lane as you recalled some of the moments that led you to be sitting in this auditorium tonight. For example, can you remember the day that you were informed that you were accepted into your chosen program? Can you remember your first contact with your faculty advisor? What about your first graduate level class? Some highlights from some of your coursework, your professors, your classmates, some special challenges and successes along the way. Perhaps you experienced both feelings of elation and despair. Did you ever feel overwhelmed that you'd taken on more than you could possibly find the time to complete? How did you juggle graduate school along with all of your other responsibilities? How many of you were working along with going to graduate school? Wow. As you recall the path that you took on your academic journey, undoubtedly you'll recognize what a special occasion this is and how important it is to celebrate your success. All of us, faculty, staff, administrators, family, friends, all are gathered here tonight to applaud the attainment of your goal of earning your master's degree. Relish the moment. You're going to have the hood placed around your shoulders. Walk proudly across the stage, shake the Chancellor's hand, have your photo taken, and enjoy your special moment. UNCP is committed to an overarching mission of changing lives through education. Treasure those changes in your own lives that you've experienced here, and continue to look for ways to make a positive difference in the lives of those you touch. From the faculty of UNC Pembroke, heartfelt congratulations. We're so very proud of you. Audience, join me in applauding our graduates.
Good evening. On behalf of our magnificent staff, I extend greetings to the graduates, their family, friends, university staff, faculty, administration, and platform guests. Graduates, we congratulate and celebrate you today. Your degree from this great university will change your life forever. Your name on this diploma will be on resumes, job applications, and business cards. Your name will be associated with the name of this university forever. This is your alma mater. The proverb goes, a good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. You carry the name of UNC Pembroke with you. We will carry your name with us. We want to celebrate in your triumphs. We want you to have great riches. And if you do have great riches, we will want you to give back. But more importantly, we want you to have a good name. Your name is bound to our name on this diploma. The staff of this university are proud of you today because we know that our name, our university's name, will be highly esteemed because of you and the great accomplishments that are in your future. Congratulations. Go Braves.
Greetings, family members, visitors, friends, faculty, staff, and most importantly, our graduates. I am Amy Cox, and I have had the honor to serve as president of your graduate student organization this year. I have one question for you tonight. Why? Why did you come to graduate school? Why did you choose to continue your education? The question why is something we often don't consider. What is our purpose? The answer, of course, varies depending on who you ask and at what point in their life that you ask them. For some, it's more money, another career or job title, or just personal fulfillment. For me, it's a statement you've probably heard around here a time or two, changing lives through education. It's even printed outside of the very building that we are in right now. That statement can be interpreted in so many ways, but at the very core, your life has changed by attending UNC Pembroke. You've impacted others in your life through your time and your experiences here. You are changing lives through your own education. The people you've met and experiences that you've had will shape the rest of your life. I often tell students that my advisor for my undergraduate time here still writes me letters of recommendation, even though he's retired and I graduated almost a decade ago. I normally get a chuckle, but it's true. And that's a testament to the kind of passion and sense of family that Brave Nation has. By the way, thanks again, Dr. Jordan. Clint Eastwood once said, "Children teach you that you can still be humbled by life and that you learn something new all the time. That's the secret to life, really. Never stop learning. It's the secret to career. I'm still working because I learn something new all the time. It's the secret to relationships. Never think you've got it all." So, as Clint said, keep learning and keep educating. And be sure to keep smiling along the way. You've worked hard, so celebrate. But don't forget that your family here at UNCP will always be here for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Blue, Dr. Simmons, Mr. Byrd, and Ms. Cox. I now invite Dr. Irene Aiken, Dean of the Graduate School, to introduce tonight's commencement speaker.
Good evening. It is with pleasure that I introduce Judge James E. Laka, a 1971 graduate of PSU, now UNC Pembroke, as our commencement speaker. Judge Laka currently serves as the Chief Judge of the South Carolina Court of Appeals, a position he has held since 2016. He has been a member of the court since 2008. Prior to serving on the Court of Appeals, he was a circuit court judge for 18 years. The Honorable Judge received his law degree from the University of South Carolina School of Law and earned his master's degree in history from the Citadel. A native of Dillon, South Carolina, Laka has had an exceptional career in the military, in law, in politics, and in civic life. Laka served 30 years in the military, retiring as a full colonel in the National Guard. He began his professional career as a legislative assistant to U.S. Senator Strom Thurmond, and later served as a legal counsel to a subcommittee of the State Judiciary Committee. In 1979, Laka returned to Dillon, South Carolina, and entered private practice with a law firm of Green, Laka, and Bailey. He was elected for 4 terms into the South Carolina House of Representatives. He is a former president of the National Guard Association of South Carolina and the Circuit Court Judges Association. He is also a member of the executive committees of the National Conference of the State Trial Judges and the National Conference of Appellate Court Judges. Active in his community, the judge was a longtime Boy Scout leader, a youth sports coach. He led the effort to renovate the Dillon County Courthouse and was active in the effort to renovate the old Dillon County Courthouse, County Theater. He is aboard and is active in his community theater and is an active Kiwanian, having served as both president and lieutenant governor. His community service has been recognized. In 1989, he was named Dillon County Citizen of the Year. And in 2012, alumni and staff here at UNC Pembroke presented him with the Distinguished Service Award. Please join me in welcoming our Graduate School 2017 commencement speaker, Judge James E. Laka.
Thank you very much, Dean Aiken. I really appreciate that introduction. And thank you, Chancellor Cummings, for your hospitality, the invitation, and your leadership that you give to this, my alma mater. It is indeed, ladies and gentlemen, honored to be here tonight and have an opportunity to say a few words as you receive what for most of you is a first postgraduate degree, and for some, the number's even more. After my conversations with some of the professors, with you understand some of you have many postgraduate degrees. In fact, understand some of you have no room left on your wall for the degrees that you're receiving, and you might be back for more, and we welcome you back for more. Like you, I decided that education beyond my bachelor's degree was something I really wanted to pursue when I finished here at Pembroke. First, a law degree. And just 5 years ago, I completed my master's in history. Also, like most of you, I completed these degrees while earning a living and attending classes as my money and my time would allow. I am confident that today is not just a day of relief from studies and the numerous papers and research required in graduate school, but relief from balancing school and a full-time career. Also relief from balancing school, a full-time career, and family. I'm sure that more than a few times as you struggled, as was already mentioned here earlier tonight, as you struggled with all the obligations necessary, you wondered, why? Why? Why am I doing this? Is it worth the struggle? Well, tonight I'm sure you're saying, yes, because you've taken on the added responsibility of this balancing act for 1, 2, 3, or more years, because you've needed something within you that cannot be fulfilled without more knowledge and proof of it to obtain a goal that you have in your life. I congratulate you for your dedication, your focus, and your pursuit of further understanding, further achievement. As you now approach life, as you now approach career challenges, do not forget that the piece of paper you received today is just that, a piece of paper. It represents what you have achieved, but it is not the achievement. You have made the achievement, and it lives within you. When I received my law degree and passed the bar examination, I felt great. I felt like I was going to change the world, that I was going to be the symbol of justice. When the bar results came out in the state newspaper, a paper in South Carolina that circulates all over the state, my name was listed as among the new lawyers for the state of South Carolina. I was sure everyone who knew me would share in my exhilaration and want to wish me well in working to do justice from the world. 2 days later, I was proudly walking up the steps of my church, and I was carrying my diploma, and I saw a deacon on the entrance foyer who had known me since childhood. Surely he was impressed with me. So I walked toward him with my certificate in my hand, my diploma, and as I got within his range so he could begin lauding me with congratulations, I remember he looked at me and he said, "Oh, I saw in the paper you now have a license to steal." I was already about to reply, "Thank you," with a smile, but then I thought, what did you just say? Then his actual words hit me. I hesitated for a moment, and then I said, "Well, Mr. Stanton, if you need me, I'll be there for you," and walked away. To me, that law degree meant something that would enable me to do good things in the world. To others, it meant something else. To others, it meant that I was joining a group of ambulance chasers whose only goal was to pocket as much money from the errors as others as I could. It hit me that that piece of paper that I put on my wall and I carried that day, indicating my graduation and passage of the bar, is just that, a piece of paper only within me, because my achievement was something that I had within myself. Also know, and I also knew, that graduating from law school and becoming a lawyer represented my passion, my calling. I'm sure some of you have found already, and others of you will find, your life is happiest if you are in a career that represents your passion and not just your need for a job. Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration of Independence, the third president of the United States, a person with many blemishes and scars also. But he also was a person who loved science and experiments in nature. If you visit his home in Monticello, you'll see the many inventions and experiments he carried on to make life more interesting. In response to someone stating to him as he left office that his successes in politics must be gratifying to him, Jefferson replied, "Well, politics was my duty, but science is my passion." The nature poet Uriah once wrote, "It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ate for. If you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing." If you're fortunate enough to be paid to do what you're passionate about, that is wonderful. If not, but you have duties to meet and your profession provides a means to do so, then do your duty, but do not forget your passion. Keep the flame burning. Engage in your passion also as you do your duty. Many of you will advance to positions of high authority with this graduate degree. You've been used to asking questions and receiving guidance. Now others will be asking questions and seeking guidance from you. I remember as a young circuit judge, just as I went on the bench, I would travel. They'd send us all over the state to hold cases. And most of these cases were very serious ones. I would often call a recess when some issues baffled me of which I was unsure as to the correct ruling. I then would get back in my chambers after the recess, and I would say, you know, I've got to find an answer to this, because in our society of common law, we live in an area where the lawyers present both sides to the judge, and they're both adamant about their positions. And as a judge, you cannot vacillate. You've got to rule. You've got to say something. In the beginning of my judicial role, after I would take a recess when a really difficult issue arose and the lawyers would look at me to decide, I would have my law clerk assist me in reaching some of the more experienced judges around the state. And I'd pose the issue to them on the phone and receive guidance from them. I did this for several months as a judge. And then one day, during a murder trial, I still remember that very day, an important disagreement among the attorneys arose on a legal issue that would affect a crucial issue in the trial. They both argued their point and looked to me for a ruling. The state and the family of the victim anxiously waited my decision. The defense attorney, the accused, nervously looked at me as I decided probably the fate of the rest of his life. As always, I decided this was time to take a recess. I went back into my chambers and began to call and try to reach some of my more experienced colleagues. This was late in the day just before a holiday, and I could not reach any one of my trusted, more experienced colleagues. I became concerned. They had always been there for me before. What now would I do? I looked over at my law clerk, and she looked back at me, and she said words that pierced my soul. She stated to me, well, I guess today you become a judge. She was right. It was time for me to realize that these decisions were mine. I was ready, and I had the knowledge and the ability to rule on these matters. The crutch I was using was no longer needed. Any difficulty walking was long overcome. I grew up that day, and I became a judge. I called upon my knowledge of the law and went back out in the circuit courtroom, and I ruled. The issue was addressed by me as the judge of those proceedings. I still remember that day and exactly where I was when I became a judge. My law clerk, who's gone on to a great career and now lives in New York, she recalls with me that day each time we see each other. Amazingly, soon after that, other judges began calling on me for guidance. Today, graduates, you change. Although I'm sure there are many questions you have, you should now have also many answers. Have confidence in yourself. Make decisions. Just like the bird, there are times to be in the nest and unable to fly. But when the time comes, and the time is now, fly, fly, and teach others to fly. Finally, I have no misconceptions that my words today are going to have an effect on many of you. I know most of you are just waiting to get the diploma, waiting to celebrate. But if just one of you that I have made a difference here today, it's worth it. And should we not all be striving to make a difference for the good if it's just in one person? When I sat here at Pembroke over 40 years ago and marched into the graduation ceremony, I also did not intend to be affected by any words of a speaker that day. I planned to get my degree. I planned to go teach elementary social studies or go to law school. I couldn't decide, but I wanted to go ahead and get the degree and get it over and get started. I remember Chancellor English Jones came to the podium and introduced our commencement speaker. My life changed that day. The speaker was a judge from Alabama who had graduated from what was then Pembroke College when I was there, Pembroke State University, and now UNC Pembroke. As he told his story of his journey from Pembroke to another state and then to law school and then on to the bench, I began to reevaluate my decision to accept that teaching position without considering maybe going on to law school. I then decided, yes, I'm going to go to law school. I was accepted at law school. I went into the Army JAG Corps after graduation, stayed into the reserves after active duty, retired recently as a full colonel. I've served in our legislature. I served as a minority counsel in the United States Senate. Then I served as a circuit judge. Now as chief judge of one of the highest courts in our state. I was that one person that day when that gentleman spoke from Alabama. The speaker made a difference for the good in my life. Where will you go after tonight? Will you follow your passion? Will you be ready to take control, to make decisions? One day, what day has or will change your life for the good? As I leave you here tonight, go forth and meet life as William Cullen Bryant wrote in Thanatopsis when he said, so live that when thy summons comes to join, that innumerable caravan that travels through the mysterious realm where each shall claim his chamber in the silent halls of death. Thou go not like a scurry slave scourged to his dungeon, but soothe and sustain with an unfaltering trust. Approach thy grave like one who wraps the draperies of his couch about him and lies down to pleasant dreams. Good luck. God bless. Congratulations. You can get there from here. Go Braves!
Okay, you're excused. Okay, you can get there from here, folks. You can get there from here. Thank you, Judge Laka. Your name has been forever associated with the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. You've made us proud, my friend. You've changed lives. Thank you for those words. Graduates, I hope you listen. Today, you become the judge. So graduates, we now come to that part of the ceremony for which you have worked so hard. You're about to undergo a metamorphosis, a change that will forever impact, define, and guide your lives, and in fact the lives of those around you. You will never be the same individual after tonight. The university's interim provost, Dr. Scott Billingsley, will now present the candidates for degrees and the conferring of degrees to tonight's candidates.
Chancellor Cummings, I call upon the Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Irene Aiken, to present to you the candidates for degrees who will be awarded diplomas upon completion of all requirements of their degree programs as prescribed by the faculty, the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, and the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina.
I ask all candidates for graduate degrees from the graduate school to please stand and remain standing. This is it. Chancellor Cummings, the graduate school, the graduate program directors, graduate faculty, and I are pleased to present the candidates for the following graduate degrees: Master of Arts, Master of Arts in Education, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Business Administration, Master of Public Administration, Master of School Administration, Master of Science in Nursing, and Master of Social Work.
Chancellor Cummings, all candidates for degrees are hereby presented.
Thank you, Dr. Billingsley. I now ask all faculty to stand and remain standing in support of these, your graduates, and as confirmation of their meeting the rigorous standards set forth by this university. I now ask all UNC Pembroke alumni present today on the platform or in the audience to stand and remain standing as witnesses to the conferral of these degrees and the acceptance of these students, soon to be graduates, into the ranks of loyal alumni. Upon the recommendation of the faculty by the authority vested in me by the North Carolina Board of Governors and the University of North Carolina at Pembroke Board of Trustees, and upon their completion of all requirements, I will confer upon these candidates the degree for which they have satisfied requirements with all of its right, honors, and responsibilities. Please join me in applauding these new graduates. You may all be seated, please. Dr. Jonathan Drehos, Associate Professor of the Department of English, Theater, and Foreign Languages and Director of the Theater Program, will announce the names of those candidates who are present today.
Since individual graduates are recognized by calling their names as they walk across the stage, we ask the entire audience to be respectful of the graduates and their families. We also ask you remain seated and stay for the entire ceremony. An additional garment, a hood, as well as a robe that is wider at the sleeves than the baccalaureate gown, recognizes graduates who have attained their master's degrees. Dr. Irene Aiken, Dean of the Graduate School, has the honor of hooding these students on stage. Will the candidates for master's degrees please step forward as their names are called? Master of Arts, English Education, Andrew Johnston Burns. Nestor B. Guerra. Dion Soriano Harrell. Christopher Michael Walker. Health and Physical Education. Dawn Marie Brown. Tatiana Chanel Dixon. Joshua Nigel Gooding. Brianna Storm Hartley. John Allen Johnson Jr. Danielle Renee Lunsford. Cody Edward Suggs. Science Education, Christy May Whitesell. Mathematics Education, John Ethan Freeman. Master of Arts in Education, Clinical Mental Health Counseling, Samantha Tyler Alpiger. Heather Harir Baramand. Alicia Renee Carr. Jessica Allen Creed. Izanti Brittany Elizabeth Cuthrell. Kim T. Nop Duang. Megan Ashley Fentros. Jose Luis Gonzalez. Evan Iman Graham. Megan Rice Hammonds. Lakeisha Monique Jones. Natasha Jones Quinto. Jennifer Marie Pritchard. Leah Goins Quick. Nadine V. Samuel. Kristen Teresa Sessoms. Samantha Jo Simon. Lauren Ashley Ward. Elementary education. April Newhouse Abbott. Denise Lynn Douglas. Elizabeth Marie Todd. Reading education. Tanisha Christelle Abrils. Elena Alexandria Bouncer. Jeanette Louise Campbell Malloy. Catherine Schumacher Cribb. Lauren Marie Hunt. Jonetta Sadia Ingram. Thomas Zachary Jones. Gina Marie Matthews. Kimberly Sparks. Amanda Lauren Thompson. School counseling. Tony Alexandra Bird. Erica K. Freeman. Sierra Virginia Thompson. Kristen Usry Truitt. Master of Arts in Teaching, Health and Physical Education, Brittany Nicole Harrington. Elliot Samuel III. Mathematics Education, Matthew Brent Purser. Middle grade education, Linda Ann Haynes. Dominique Lasha Reese. Science education, Farrell Ann Bennett. Anna Lee Sanford. Cameron Dwayne Troutman. Social Studies Education, Crystal Lynn Cole. Master of Business Administration, Sharita Lene Blue. Jamise Nicole Cameron. David Andrew Clegg. Desiree Jacqueline Florio. Keith Justin Ham. Anthony Paul Maori. Christy Lynn Slater. Carolyn Ann Sylvester. David Earl Wilson. Master of Public Administration, Alicia Laurie Chavis. Ariel Deschanay Davis. Keith Frazier Dykus. Tia Fula. Hollis Kimray Hare. Lisa Chanel McFadden. Sarah Catherine Thompson. Master of School Administration, Charisse Alberta Campbell. Kelsey Shea Cummings. Justin Paul Dial. Jerry Adam Eford. Angela Merritt Gonzalez. Courtney Roseanne Pearson. Maggie Xaviel Purvis. Tracy Louise Roberson. Rachel Me Robinson. Enoch Robledo. Tanya Tynetta Williams. Master of Science in Nursing, Kirsten Hudgens. Crystal Renee Long. Master of Social Work, Kelly Shipman Armstrong. Alicia Sharan Berenger. Michelle Gabrielle Barron. Elizabeth Ashley Bell. Cynthia Tart Bowers. Olivia Diane Bridges. Taylor Renee Brower. Taylor Alexandria Burris. Tiara Tanae Cash. Kendra Sierra Chavis. Alexis Marie Coleman. Raven Christina Nicole Coots. Deanna Patrice Covington. Latoya Franche Davis. Tia Sherelle Demps. Allison Danielle Dove. Lamont Edmund. Tulaney Charlotte Fox. Natalia DeSimone Graham. Alaska DeEvelyn Hawkins. Mia Christine O'Kelly Hillert. Lisa Michelle Ivy. Evelyn Melissa Jameson Coleman. Christina Marie Johnston. Kimberly Jane Jones. Diane Lynn Kempenin. Andrew Coaches. Tymisha Lachey Lamison. Brittany Sierra Levinson. Brittany Nicole Locklear. Eva Lynn Lowry. Victoria Lynn Mans. Sherry Marie Matthews. Calbrianda Sule McNeil. Caitlin Ann Olivaria. Courtney Alyssa Pope. Misty Gray Riley. Hannah Danielle Roberts. Shannon Venice Robinson. Lakeisha Chantier Robinson. Julius Lindell Simmons. Elena Rachel Smith. Lakila Chantel Smith. Rebecca Oxendine Sneed. Alexis O'Neill Speck. Marquet Tremaine Sutton. Tracy Nicole Taylor. Lucretia Bianca Tillman. Mary Elizabeth Troll. Gabrielle Elena Wheat. Chancellor Cummings, all candidates for degrees have now been presented.
All those changed lives. I must admit that commending each of you graduates individually as you cross the stage is really one of the most favorite parts of my job, and I look forward to it. I'll indulge myself again by congratulating all of you together as members of this University of North Carolina at Pembroke graduating class of 2017. Congratulations, guys. Good work. Good job. You know, a very special change occurred over the last few minutes. You officially became alumni of our graduate program, and so I am pleased to invite Alumni Association President Mr. Owen Thomas to the podium.
I'll tell you what, Chancellor, I don't know, but they must be holding meetings outside before the ceremony because there's a lot of support in this room, sharing support, so this is awesome. Good evening to the class of 2017. Let me join the long list of people offering you congratulations today on becoming a UNCP graduate. Well done. As you look forward to the opportunities that lie ahead, let me remind you to also look back on occasion. Remember what UNCP has meant to you. Remember the people who have helped you overcome obstacles and helped you get to this point. Sitting here in a cap and gown with the rest of your life changed because of your UNCP degree. As alumni, we all have the responsibility of sustaining and advancing this great university in years to come. We have an obligation to make sure the opportunities we enjoyed as students will be available for future generations of young people. So get involved and stay involved. Come back to campus. Be here for homecoming. Stay in touch with your professors. Give back in whatever way you can by making a contribution to UNCP every year. Keep the Alumni Relations Office updated on your contact information, but most importantly, be a proud representative of UNCP wherever you are. On behalf of more than 27,000 fellow alumni, let me once again say congratulations. Welcome to the UNCP Alumni Association, and go Braves.
Owen, thank you. And thank you to everyone who had a part in making this commencement a very special occasion for our graduates. At the conclusion of this ceremony, all graduates and their families and friends and our faculty are invited to a reception in the University Center Annex, which is located just over to the right of this building. I urge everyone to attend. We look forward to greeting you and continuing to celebrate this great accomplishment by these folks, this high water mark in the lives of the most recent additions to Brave Nation. But before we end, I want to leave our graduates with just a few closing thoughts. First, understand what we have experienced tonight is somewhat unique. Many universities award graduate and undergraduate degrees during the same ceremony, and often the conferral of degrees is as a group with all graduates simply standing. But we believe at UNC Pembroke, learning gets personal. We have a distinct personal celebration like this one, and we feel that it is most fitting. For one thing, as they say, this isn't your first rodeo. You've been through a version of this ceremony before. You've worn this stylish cap and gown. You've waited for your name to be called so you could accept your diploma. You all know the drill. But more importantly, what you have accomplished is substantially different than earning an undergraduate degree. You are now a master in your chosen field. You are among only 10% of adults in North Carolina with a graduate or professional degree, only 10%. You are among the most educated people in this state and in this nation. Be proud of that achievement, but also embrace the responsibility that accompanies it. You all have earned graduate degrees in complex and dynamic fields that are quickly evolving to keep pace with the world around us. But these fields, education, business, nursing, social work, just to name a few of them, are vitally important to our collective future. Whether we're talking about high-level public policy or boots-on-the-ground operation of a business or an organization, we often hear someone say, someone should really do something about that. Someone should come up with a solution. Someone should step up and take the lead. Graduates, you are that someone. When you walked across this stage tonight, you entered a new chapter in your life, as we've said many times already. You are not the person who identifies a problem and relies on someone else to solve it, or who spots an opportunity and looks to someone else to seize it. In your public service or in your career, when people are searching for answers, looking around the room for someone to step up, someone to lead, they are looking for you. Last December at Commencement, our speaker, Dr. Brian Brayboy, gave advice to the graduates. I really liked his advice, and I wanted to repeat it to you tonight. Dr. Brayboy said, quote, "Life is a verb. We live life, we engage the world around us. We laugh, we love, we do, and we cry. Avoid the pitfall of being a leaf in the stream, of having others tell you what to do and how to act. Live your life as a verb." Live your life as a verb. When people are searching for answers, looking around the room for someone to step up, someone to lead, they are looking for you. Lead. Lead. Rebecca and I have so enjoyed our time as your First Lady and Chancellor. We wish you Godspeed. Congratulations once more. Give yourself one more hand. Now, we would be remiss if before we leave we didn't recognize some very important guests. For some of you, these are the most important people in your world. Would the parents or guardians of our graduates please stand and remain standing? Parents and guardians. Please remain standing. Remain standing. Would the spouses and children of our graduates please stand and remain standing? The grandparents and other family members of our graduates, please stand and remain standing. And this should get everyone else. The special friends of our graduates, please stand. Now, while these folks are standing, it is my pleasure to invite our graduates to now rise and show your appreciation to these people for their love, support, and interest in your future. Graduates, rise, and let's give them an applause. Now, if everyone would remain standing as we sing together, the alma mater, led by Taylor Royer, please join together as we sing.
Where Carolina's lofty pine trees pierce the southern blue, proudly stands our alma mater, courageous, strong, and true. Black and gold float on forever, symbol of loyalty. Pembroke, our alma mater, hail to UNCP.
Go Braves! Go Braves! Once again, congratulations, graduates. I ask everyone to please remain standing during the recessional as we honor our graduates one last time. Please wait until the graduates have recessed before proceeding to the reception. Thank you and good night.
play Victorious Love and then be done, what do you think?
Sure.
Page 6?
12 books.
Since we didn't get to play it before.
Page 6.
6.